If that means we're ready.
I'm sorry to put on the floor.
You give her time to get here, but she'll be here in a second. Yeah. Time I will call this regular meeting of the Port Lavaca City Council to order on this Monday, December 11th, 2023 at 6:39 p.m. I would ask everyone to please rise. Councilman Ward, would you deliver our invocation, please?
Sure. Let's pray. Father, we come before you now. Thank you, Father, for all the benefits that you've extended to us as a nation. I want to just ask that you continue to protect us from, defend us from those that might seek to undermine this nation. Pray for our military, Father. Be with our leaders as they make decisions that would be under the guidance and direction of your Holy Spirit. We ask, Lord, that the decisions that we make here will be for the betterment of this city, this county, and ask that you continue to watch over us and care for us. And we pray it all, Father, in Jesus Christ's name and for his sake.
Please join me in the pledges of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag.
I
I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Yeah, the first order of business is to ask if there's anyone here that wants to address or speak to council for any reason. From the public that's not already on the agenda.
Do you have Ms. Paulette Clay, did you want to make any comments from the public? No, okay, no.
Yeah, sure. Paulette online and Rose and Justin here. Cody, can you explain what they did with for the community a couple of weeks ago?
Well, the Total Impact Group, right, I think it was led by Total Impact, selected some property in the original town site and got a large group of people together. I think it was like 30, up to 30 some people, and cleaned up that lot, and made it look really nice. Took away quite a bit of brush and trash and some tires even, but it looks a whole lot better than it did. We thank them for that, their efforts.
Yes, thank you.
They did a great job. We have one more on their agenda, I believe, coming up, and Jody and I are trying to get ready to help them out with hauling the trash off afterwards, or providing a dumpster, because it's gonna be even tougher job. Okay, well, thank y'all, and we'll just move on. I see no one else here to speak, so we'll move on to Steve. Are you here to speak before council, or are you just visiting?
No, sir, I'm just visiting. Right.
Okay.
Five people work tonight.
Thank you for being here. We don't usually get, that's a good crowd. All right, so we'll move on to our regular agenda, which consists of the consent agenda, which is the minutes of the November 13th, 2023 regular meeting, review of the credit card statement, receiving the monthly financial highlight report, receiving the Victoria Economic Development Corporation monthly report, and ratify the interim city manager's approval of urban engineering's task order 29 and 29A for $25,250 to prepare, design, and bid documents for water transmission line repairs at Alcoa and Austin Street.
So moved. Second.
And a motion and a second approving the consent agenda as approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. None opposed, motion passes. Okay, we move to our regular agenda, agenda item number 1, and there is a correction, a typo in agenda item number 1. It says the 2022 fiscal budget. It should be the 2024.
All right, sir.
So let me read the agenda item. Receive and approve presentation of the Calhoun County E911 2024 fiscal budget in accordance with the Health and Safety Code Title IX, Safety, Subtitle B, Emergencies, Chapter 772, Local Administration of Emergencies, Section 772.3094, Governing Body, Participating Jurisdiction. Rachel, you want to present the document to us?
Yes, sir. Good evening. As per chapter 772 of the Health and Safety Code, I'm here presenting the Calhoun County 911 Emergency Communication 2024 budget. And our budget was approved by the by 911 district on November 17th, 2023, and Commissioners Court on 11/29/23. Usually I'm here earlier, however, we did have a proposition on the ballot, and thank you to the voters, they did pass that. That was Proposition 8, which affects House Bill 9, and that's going to mean that we will be receiving some state revenue. And if I may, I'm going to go ahead and go into it. At this time, we anticipate that from our revenue, we should be getting from 911 revenue from landline and wireless approximately 235,000. And for SB8 and ARPA, I'll be spending approximately 400,000. And from Proposition 8, House Bill 9, which is state revenue, is 233,448. So we have a total of $868,448 for 2024. And the federal grant that we received last year is making a difference. At this time, I'd like to report in 2023, we did spend $87,786.01 for the Southern Software Port Lavaca PD project, CAD project. And also, we just recently spent for the pictometry aerial, Calhoun County aerial flyover, $125,393.10. And none of this would have been possible without our federal grant. Going back to my budget, I'm sad to tell you that our wireless monies that are coming in are decreasing. The way we receive our wireless funds is through population base. And if you're not aware, our population continues to decline, and it's done so twice in the last 2 years. The latest numbers that I have for Calhoun County from the Texas Demographer's Office is 19,705. Just to give you a quick rundown, Point Comfort, 570, Fort Lavaca, 11,151, Cedar, 1,009, and so the county rural area, 6,975, which totals 19,705. So that affects the way we receive our wireless funding. Our wireless funding is 50 cents for every cell phone. The state takes it and then divides it per population base. And that's what we have to work with. Looking at our budget, we have a lot of things that we're going to be doing next year. We were hopeful that we were going to put the SCNet in 2023. However, a decision was made that we decided to wait for 2024 because of the combined dispatch facility. It didn't make sense for us to install it at the SO and PD PSAPs at this time and then pick it up and move it in approximately 6 to 9 months. And that isn't a wise way of spending our taxpayer money. So unfortunately, we did not implement that in 2023. However, more things will be occurring next year, and we have quite a bit of things. We're hopeful that the building is scheduled to be completed summer of 2024. Hopeful. And in that time, next year, we should have 911 transcription, Citizen Connect, and 911 language line with IA, and it should be at the dispatchers, telecommunicators fingertips. And we will be changing the way things are done with technology. And technology costs money, but we're going to make it. We're hopeful that the state continues to invest money And we're okay for 24 and 25. And the state will decide if they give us money in the future. But basically, we're going to be spending a lot of money next year. And one of the bills that went through 3290 on our federal funds, we were supposed to have an expiration date of 12/23/24. 12/21, I'm sorry, and that's been extended to 12/31/2026. So we have more time to spend the federal grant. And once SO and PD are in the same building, we'll make a decision on what needs to be implemented at that particular time and where we are. One of the things that the 911 district is seeing is our insurance is going up, whether it be auto, physical, errors and omission, real and personal property. Basically now TML is going to charge the small districts or any entity a baseline amount, and it is what it is that we have to pay for it, regardless if we have one vehicle or so we did see an increase in that, and we're working on some things to try to on that. And we will not be spending any money from capital outlay, but in a nutshell, that is our budget. And just what they allocate for capital 911 on the approved allocation is 0.06667% of what the state collects and then distributes it. So, there was one thing that I was hoping that maybe we could discuss and see. The Texas Demographer's Office comes up with these figures. We don't have to agree to it. That is the figures that they're going to give us. Another possible avenue is instead of just counting new structures being built, we thought she mentioned that we could do utility connections, and that may help our numbers. But bottom line, our population is decreasing, and we need to figure out how to get those numbers back up there.
They're basing the numbers off the census, which docked us in Rockport because of Hurricane Harvey. And we didn't lose it from Harvey. Rockport lost some temporarily, but they're bigger than they ever were, and they're docking both of them. It just isn't fair. We have more people than we had before, but the census is saying we don't.
Because all the 20 census is skewed.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
I mean, we don't have enough housing here as it is. We have so many people here. All the rental properties are full. All our houses are full. We find property here, so we're not losing population.
I did ask her, because the state demographer's office changes the numbers for the state comptroller. And the state demographer's office told me in a conversation that our numbers are high to begin with. But we're at their mercy. And
Our utility taps are up maybe slightly, but they for sure haven't decreased in it, so. Should be at least the same.
So is there money rolled over from this year into next year for the building and stuff, or what?
oh,
Okay,
the building is the county
okay,
and the city.
okay. So that's separately funded?
Yes, sir. However, 911 will pay for some items that are reimbursable by the grant. We did speak with Commissioner Hall. 911 can pay for the desk consoles and or maybe the 24-hour chairs. Grant will not pay for the moving from SO to PD. So we worked out an agreement with the county that the county will pay for it with their ARPA funds versus the 911 funds. And we're trying to be very smart and strategic as far as getting our money back and reimbursed. And we're all working together and having a great time.
It's amazing how the city and county and together.
We are. And basically, that's my budget. If you got any questions or concerns, we're
Just amazed.
Make a motion to receive and approve the budget.
Second. We have a motion and a second to receive and approve the Calhoun County E911 2024 fiscal budget. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign? And none opposed, excuse me, hearing none Opposed, motion passes. But you forgot to bring their sinus bill. All right, we will move on to agenda item number 2. Consider approval of a 2-year agreement with the Lavaca Chamber of Commerce, Events Management, Market, Communication Services. Jody?
Mayor Council, as you recall, last year, the council approved an amendment for the 3rd year of a 3-year contract with the chamber for events management and marketing. And we added communications for an annual fee of $90,000 paid in 3 equal installments. Tanya and I had met and we've looked over the agreement and we're proposing no changes to the existing agreement except to propose a 2-year agreement instead of 3. And also change the initial installment date to January instead of February. That would equal out the payments better than they are currently. It should be noted that the agreement stipulates that funding under the agreement is subject to annual appropriations by city council via the annual city budget. So this past year, some of the events that Tanya was instrumental in providing creative social media posts and other communications included Public Works Week, Swing Into Spring, National Police Week, Building Safety Week, a series of congratulatory job well done social media posts highlighting several of our employees that have passed certification exams, requiring licensing levels, the Clean It and Green It birthday event. She helped create a video message featuring the mayor for Employee Appreciation Day, and has helped launch the City of Fort Lavaca YouTube channel. And we're posting the recordings of all meetings of the city council and other boards on the YouTube channel for the public. As you recall, in some of the edits we had last year, we stipulated what the makeup of the events committee would be. And our events committee is made up of the events coordinator as the chair, which is Tanya, city finance director, which currently Brittany Hogan is in an acting capacity, Chamber of Commerce representative Jasmine Padirna, local hotel motel representative is Christina Pena, she's from Hampton Inn, commercial business representative Desiree Spears from Farmers Insurance, and the commercial business, another commercial business representative from Main Street is Shelley Bartels. Staff recommends approval of the Events Management Marketing Communication Services Agreement with the Port Lavaca Chamber of Commerce for fiscal years 23 through 25. And it's in your packet.
So looking at the agreement, we have the event manager and a communications officer. Are those the same person or?
No, I mean, this is the event management is deals with events. Communication deals with communication, not just events.
But that person's gonna show up at all the department head meetings.
Yes. I mean, as communication, she is at all our department head meetings.
So who's the event manager?
I mean, she does events. She does events and the marketing and the communications.
Okay. So.
I mean, events is an events lane, but communications is all lanes. Make sense?
It makes, so it's one person.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
But the agreement's with the chamber.
The agreement is with the chamber and they're, at this point, their selected person is Tanya. But yes, our agreement is with the chamber. So if Tanya were up and take off, I mean, we still have an agreement with the chamber. They would be obligated to support this. So we change things and not pay for it.
Works out pretty good.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second approving the 2-year agreement with the Port Lavaca Chamber of Commerce for events management, marketing, and communication services as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Right, we move to agenda item number 3, consider authorization to establish a new bank account at the First National Bank entitled Park Donations for purpose of receiving donations that will be used specifically for parks, improvements, and recreation.
Mayor, Council, we've talked about this in concept, I think, at a couple budget workshops in the past year or so. And we've talked with it on staff and the Parks Board. And we would like to work with Tanya and to establish an ongoing We Love Port Lavaca Parks campaign that would support our city parks for providing an easy way for people, being the local citizens and visitors, who especially enjoy the parks and have an interest in seeing new amenities, signage, et cetera, added to be able to contribute financially to fund a specific fund for parks improvements. Now, we're envisioning signs of the parks that would read something like, this park is provided for the enjoyment of those that live, work, play, or visit Port Lavaca. There's no fee to use the park, but if you have particularly enjoyed your visit and want to help us bring more improvements to our parks, please consider a contribution to We Love Port Lavaca Parks Fund. A QR code would be scanned in or a text number provided where small or large donations can be accepted. To do this would require us to establish a bank account specifically dedicated to these donated funds. We're proposing to set this special account at the First National Bank and can do so with council's approval. It's hoped that donations to this fund would help in providing things like more shade structures, benches, picnic tables, special features, trees, irrigation, landscaping, recreation, special parks events, etc. Fund would not be used for routine maintenance that would be funded in the parks general fund budget. The final details of the campaign will be presented to the Parks Board and City Council prior to full implementation. The recommendation, staff recommends council authorize the establishment of a parks donation bank account with First National Bank.
I think it's a great idea, but I'd sure like to see a policy on this before we approve the creation, because.
Well, we're not, I mean, at this point, we can't do anything till we create bank account, but
Well, I think we need to create a policy on exactly how the money will be used and can't be used.
Yeah, it
Okay.
says routine maintenance. I just don't think it should be maintenance.
no,
Whether
no,
routine or
you're
not.
reading it
No, 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 no,
wrong.
no.
You're reading it wrong. It would not be,
I know,
Yeah.
it says not used for routine maintenance. Why did you have to specify routine maintenance?
well, I mean.
There could be other maintenance. That's what I'm saying. Any maintenance, you should say, will not be used for maintenance.
Well, and if we don't have a policy that says it cannot be moved into some other account for any reason. I mean, we
Right,
can
and
say
it
that
wouldn't be,
because
yeah.
if people donate money in.
Yeah, they want to see that.
I mean, we can,
So, but no, I think it's a great idea. and We
Okay.
have talked about it.
I like
I'm not
it.
saying it's a bad idea. We have to have a policy. there before.
no, that's
So I
good.
would make a motion that we pass this until we have the policy.
Okay, I will work on doing that, yeah. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
We have people lining up to donate.
We will.
We haven't given them a way to do it.
Had donations in the past. and-
Some of the parks,
Big city.
but there's no easy way to do it. So,
Yeah, I've been to other parts where it's been successful, you know. so.
yeah, I mean, and ideally, and some cities, they had like a Friends of the Park, which is a separate
Yeah.
501(c)(3). That's an individual. doing that,
60
which
miles
is
up the road.
We can get ourselves. Second,
First and second.
Okay, second.
but yeah, we will put together,
Policy.
and what I'll do is I'll put something together, bring it to Parks Boards next week, try to get something to them next week so we can bring it back in January.
Sounds
right.
good. So we have a motion and a second to pass agenda item number 3. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The opposed, same sign.
Until we have a policy.
Yeah, we're gonna pass it once we get the policy.
Until we.
Yeah,
Until.
understood.
Yeah, you're okay. I think so.
Yeah, so we gotta look at the policy, but yeah.
Okay.
You got the correct motion?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
So it doesn't just show up every agenda.
Right.
Everybody. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Unopposed, motion passed. So vote on the correct motion.
We pass until we get another policy to review.
Take policy for the use of the
Specific to-
special bank account.
This is the only special fund we have currently, or it would be, right? Right now, we have none. Other than the main one.
Yeah, I mean.
We have a memorial. Is the memorial a separate bank account?
I don't know if it's a separate bank account, it's a separate fund.
Well, we have separate funds, but I don't think.
I don't
they're all-
think there's a separate bank account, because I think, that, because it turned out this was a bigger deal than I was thinking it was.
I was just curious. Yeah, so that even makes it more, so I think it makes it kind of more important to have.
Yes.
So,
But I mean, to set up a special,
well, there's some auditors out there saying every time you should have a separate fund. And
I don't have a bank account. I mean, funds are different than bank account.
I
Yeah.
agree, but you're saying separate bank account.
Yeah, which I know we do not have.
No, and I know we don't either. So, you know, this, it's
16.
probably just segregated, but it's gonna be under our tax ID number. So whether it's segregated.
But yeah, we for sure, yeah, we wanted to identify this as a separate account so that these contributions were going specifically to this account and nowhere else in those. But you're right, we need a policy, so we can't just take some of this money and put it someplace else.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
Which
used.
is clearly not the intention, but yeah,
Very good.
right?
Move to agenda item number 4, consider approval of rules and regulations for Nautical Landings Marina and format of the lease agreement. Jody?
At the September 25th workshop, council discussed the recommendation of the Port Commission to no longer allow liveaboard tenants at the Nautical Landings Marina. General consensus at the workshop was for the staff to work with the Port Commission to make recommendations or improvements rather to the standard lease agreement for the Marina boat slip and bring back to council for approval of that, at which time the issue of liveaboards would be addressed. Attached in your packet is a copy of the Nautical Landings Marina lease for docking space with proposed edits for improvement that have been highlighted in yellow. Item 14 was approved by the Port Commission at their November meeting, which defines a liveaboard vessel as one where anyone, being owner, guest, or other authorized user, stays on board for more than 10 nights within a calendar month. And then it also clarifies the number of guest authorized users of the leasee shall be limited to 2 persons per each signatory on the lease. The 10 nights was suggested as a way to allow occasional and weekend overnight stays for vessel owners. This is similar to the language that Rockport uses. Corpus Christi also has similar language, but it does allow 15 days per month. The Port Commission recommends to council approval of this Nautical Landings lease agreement for docking space as presented. Now, the Port Commission did not offer any grandfather clause in the recommendations, but Jim Harbor Master is proposing, recommending that council consider allowing our one liveaboard that we have at this time to remain. He is an asset to Jim at times when, Jim's not around and on weekends and evenings for consideration of council. The items that are in the lease that are highlighted, we're looking at, that the applicant would have to agree to pay a fee and grant permission to the city to perform a background criminal check on them as an applicant, and to be required to provide references and contact numbers of previous marinas where they have been, where they were docked previously. These things are just the things that we've changed since what we had before.
So that's for anybody who brings a boat in?
Correct, yes. The leasee is responsible for actions that we've, yes, just a clarification. Item 14, as you see that's what I just described, that this, defines the liveaboard vessels, and that liveaboard vessels are not permitted in the marina. Clarifying that pets must be kept on a leash and under control at all times. Leasee must keep the lease slip and craft neat and clean at all times. Leasee and his guests shall be courteous at all times. Loud music or vulgar language shall not be tolerated. Item 23 deals with the seaworthiness of the vessel, that it needs to be seaworthy, and if something happens, there's the harbor master needs to be notified, and action needs to be taken to get it repaired quickly. And then, we added to the bottom of the lease, to note that the leasee is responsible for payment of property taxes on the taxable leasehold interest in the leased boat slip, that they will receive a statement from and make payment to the Allen County Appraisal District here in Port Lavaca. Everything else that was not highlighted is what we've been using for some time. Anyway, so again, Port Commission's recommendation is to approve this as presented. Here, I think Jim and I would like consideration or thought to consider grandfathering our current tenant that is a liveaboard. I don't know if you want to,
Could, like you have a park host, could you have, I mean, because there may be some other person you may want to have lives there and is more like a city helper, you know what, and kind of like our park host.
It could be a provision to grant a variance to the rules to allow certain people, let court commission vote on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they have a good,
If he's helpful to you, and there may be that person in the future.
You know, there's a lot of times, especially now since that break. Still not in very good shape. You know, we'll get that, each one, a local break loose. And, you know, I'm not, if it's on the weekend or even if during the week, you know, he'll go down there and kind of, you know, take care of something. Of course, on the weekend, if something happens, he'll call me, and let me know, tell me that he's handled it or, you know, whatever we need to do from there, but.
so whether we do it by grandfather or like you said, you know, not a special or variance or approval, case by case basis.
Person, when he finally leaves, would you want another person there or would you?
I think so, and I think that's kind of after kind of talking to some of the other community he's around with them. That's kind of, you know, they don't publish little boards, but they all have at least one that kind of watches over things during the weekends, you know, things of this thing.
Can we pass it with the grandfather and then you can bring a rewrite back if we choose?
Yeah, we can do that.
First, you can rewrite it later.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I think it's a pretty good idea because I remember when Jim O'Neill was the harbor master, he would get up and go down there all time, any time of day or night. You know, and he was good about that, but the fact that we don't have Jim O'Neill around and the fact that I think that's one of the complaints is if there's no one there, there's no one there. And, you know, it's nice to have somebody around that can kind of do like a host or hostess, like we have out at Lighthouse Beach. Because if there's somebody there.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Well, you know, people come around on the weekends and might want to look at the marina and he'll take them around and show them around, things like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
So he's just strictly like a volunteer?
Yeah, I mean,
He lives down there.
yeah, he lives down there. Yeah, he's got 2 boats down there active. Trying to sell one of them, but.
And if something comes up, I mean, he can call Jim and say, you know, you need to get down here.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
No, I like the idea. Do we make a motion that we accept the amendment or the rules and regulations
As presented, but allow it.
And allow the grandfather of the current
Liverboard.
level board.
Yes.
tenant.
Yes.
What's the current?
Level board tenant.
I'll second.
motion and second approving the rules and regulations for the Nautical Landing Marina and lease agreement with the exception that the current resident, it will be grandfathered in at this time. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. None opposed, motion passes.
That person would. Designated.
It was
We'll
one.
move then to agenda item number 5, consider approval of of amendment number 1 to contract 043 between Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust and the city of Port Lavaca. Jody?
Mayor Council, the contract end date for this Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust contract is December 31st, 23. This is the contract for the $200,000 to be used towards the preliminary engineering costs. Should we receive the GLO Kepler grant application, we made application for shoreline protection projects at the Harbor Refuge. We submitted a request for 1-year contract extension because we were still waiting to hear back from GLO on whether our Kepler grant application is accepted. Contract extension request was approved and it's been signed by Steve Robbie, trustee for the Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust, and needs council approval for the mayor's signature in order to fully execute the amendment. Obviously, we're recommending approval of this amendment and ask council to approve that and authorize the mayor to sign it. I do have an exciting update. Friday, I did receive information that our application to Kepra was in fact approved for both the Harbor Refuge Shoreline Protection Project and the Lighthouse Beach Shoreline Protection Project. Which again, this is the engineering phase. Our match for the Harbor Refuge is 275,200, 200 of which is coming from the trust. The Lighthouse Beach, our match is 50,000. These were approved by a resolution for application back in May. So I'm really excited that we should be getting this ball rolling shortly after the start of the new year.
Make a motion to approve amendment number 1 to the contract 043 between Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust and the city of Port Lavaca.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a motion to approve amendment number 1. The contract 43 of between Matagorda Bay Mitigation Trust and the city of Port Lavaca as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. We'll move to agenda item number 6, consider recommendation of the planning board for approval of a request from the Sand Crab Plaza LLC. YMCA. 713 Highway 35 South for preliminary and final plat of the Jimco Sand Crab subdivision being comprised of 2, the Port Lavaca Square subdivision, D/5, 6, 7, and a portion of lots 1A and 1B of the replat of the Port Lavaca Square subdivision Z/580 located on Sand Crab Boulevard. Add PIN number 13628 and 84732. Skip the legal description at this time. It also has the legal description. So Derek?
Mayor, council, in your packet, the memo showing the intent of the request. The request is to sell that property for new development. If approved by council, then a conceptual plan will be brought to the planning board and the council at a later date for the development. Also included in there is the preliminary and if approved by council, the final replat, minor plat replat.
The development,
I'm sorry?
is there development in general public information or what kind of development?
Well, we did have a meeting on it and discussed the possibility of having a car wash there is what's planned. So, in the memo, it does show that the planning board did approve or recommend approval to the council. For the.
I'll move.
Oh.
Wow, go ahead.
Another car wash.
Maybe it'll be better than the ones we have now.
Huh?
Maybe it'll be better than the ones we have now.
Car wash is a car wash.
I could say.
Mm.
No,
No, it's right next to where the one is built the soccer field and across from.
soccer field is here and it's right out in front of that.
Oh, okay. The entrance coming off the Sand Crab behind McDonald's, that's where the entrance is gonna be for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's right there next to that entrance as you go into the.
Okay, yeah. And that little ditch is along here somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an easement shown.
But we need a car wash.
Good one.
Correct. Yeah, final, preliminary and final plat.
That would be like number 4 or 5.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second for approving the recommendation of the planning board for approval of the request for from Sand Crab Plaza LLC YMCA. Yeah, for preliminary and final plat as stated and as presented by staff. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none opposed, motion passes. That's a car wash. I'll move to agenda item number 7, consider recommendation of the planning board for approval of a request from Kevin and Sasha Navarez of 212 South Commerce for a variance to the City Code of Ordinance, Chapter 12, Building and Building Regulations, Article 2, Building Trade Code, Section 12 to 24, Building Setbacks. Eric?
Mayor, council, in your packet, there's the memo showing the purpose of the request. The main reason is for emergency ingress, the egress for the second floor for the residential portion of the structure. The balcony that's gonna be, it's gonna be encroaching into the front yard 3 foot into the 15-foot required setback, which will be still over the property owner's sidewalk. And it will not have, it's not going to be supported by the ground. It's going to be cantilevered out, supported by the structure itself. So there's not going to be any hindrance to access to the restaurant itself.
But Derek, you're saying that deck will be over the sidewalk?
Yes, sir.
Tiny bit, tiny bit.
Yeah, it's a 4-foot sidewalk that's going to be in front of the restaurant. And this balcony.
What's the height of that deck?
It'll be the second.
It's going to be 10 foot above the ground.
What's the height of the second floor?
10 foot, 2 foot off ground level.
Right.
Yeah.
that is the second floor, but it's gonna be just,
So 20 foot above the roof will be 20 feet above
Sir?
the roof will
The
be
ground.
20 feet above the.
Smith and.
Well, I can't remember the pitch of the roof right at this time. but
Well, it's above.
Roughly that.
It's at the second floor level, so.
Yes.
Right, so.
But
it's-
the.
I mean, so the
balcony's a 10
retaining
foot.
wall is gonna be here, floor 1 is here.
Well, yeah,
And
I mean,
here's the parking lot.
if we come from Commerce Street.
Right.
It's gonna be 10 foot above the sidewalk.
Right.
Well, Commerce Street, that's what we're planning on doing, all the developing and everything.
This doesn't go over public property. This is on
Their side.
their setback.
They own that.
It's not.
No, I understand that, but still that we have to grant a variance. Typically, people wouldn't be able to do that without a variance.
Well, I did explain to the planning board that the structure that's a couple of lots away from it is actually closer to the street line than even District West will be. So we're not giving them any benefits that surrounding property owners have.
Well, you've got an area that you can drive around down the water, close to the water. You've got a retaining wall. And they're supposed to be building something down there. And then they're gonna build something on top of that.
Well, it's gonna be pylons on the lower side. In the future, there may be another source of revenue. I'm not for sure. But right now, they're just looking to do the restaurant.
They can't enclose anything below on the waterfront side because of it's in a D zone. Velocity zone, so it would have to be its own pilings.
I can hear Sue Trailer and Mr. Smith.
There's nothing we can do to prevent.
I know, I'm just saying I can.
That's not what this is about.
And the setback, the encroachment isn't at ground level. It's in the air, yeah.
So birds sitting on the handrail won't hit the sidewalk though, right?
I'm sorry.
What?
Birds sitting on the handrail won't hit the sidewalk.
You know, if it,
Oh,
Yeah,
what-
direct bird traffic.
Not when the bird flies down.
They're gonna park along Commerce, right?
Yeah.
There's
I'm just-
some,
They can.
They can.
I know we're planning on,
Two handicaps on
Yeah.
Commerce and then the rest of the parking is.
Yeah, in your memo, in your packet, it does have a plan showing that there's 2 handicap spaces to the right of the structure. On the streets. And then on that shoulder, they're allowed to park there. We can't control that. But they're also providing parking on the water side down below. With stairs for access to get to the top for the residents.
So Derek,
And the restaurant.
it's not gonna be sticking out any further than the existing building next to it.
I believe the existing structure is actually encroaching about roughly 6 foot closer than what this,
Well, I
at
think
least 6 foot.
As I recall, the canopy or the overhang on the anchored love building is right, I mean, it's right at the right of way line.
Well, I make a motion that we approve this variance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second approving the recommendation of the planning board and approving the request. Kevin and Sasha Navarez. At 212 Commerce Street for a variance of the city code as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Any opposed, same sign. Not opposed, motion passes.
Had so many ideas and they've.
Good luck to Sasha and Kevin. Right, we move to agenda item number 8. Consider resolution number R-121123-1 to cast votes on the official ballot for the election of members to the boards of directors of the Calhoun County Appraisal District for a 2-year term beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending on December 31st, 2025. Jody?
In your packet on page 73, you'll see the list of the candidates. And the city of Port Lavaca has total votes available of 345. So you guys can equally split those votes or any combination to vote your 345 votes by this resolution.
How many, all of them?
Second motion, we equally apportion our votes across all the candidates. Oh,
That's all right, I'll second.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I get the end of the information. I'm getting used to making motions. No, that's okay. You're,
Trying to move it along.
let you do it. But it's done, so. Okay, so we have a motion and a second, approving resolution R-121123-1 to cast the votes for the official ballot of the election of members to the Board of Directors of the Calhoun County Appraisal District, authorizing the votes to be spread equally among the 5 candidates presented. The term as presented, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And not opposed, motion passes. Amounts to 69 votes per candidate.
You want to go to closed session?
Go to closed session next.
What?
Yes.
We'll skip number 9 because it may relate to matters that we may want to discuss in closed session, and we'll move it to agenda item number 10. Now, it's. Hey, number 9, let me have another one.
like a song, eh?
This time, the council, this time 7:26 PM, the council will retire into closed session for conference. Attorney on matter. That's a 5x1, 65 Yeah. On this 11th December 2023.
Mr. Commencement speaker.
There you go.
Hey, man,
I will announce this time that city council has its closed session on 11th day of December 2020.
I didn't have
Yes,
fun with swim deal. I couldn't have any fun at all.
and we will move on to, we'll actually go back to agenda item number 9 at this time. And which is to discuss the status of Corporation Ditch Culvert Replacement Project and take any action deemed necessary. We want to pass that at this time.
Make a motion.
Pass.
Second.
We have motion and a second to pass agenda item number 9. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Not opposed, motion passes. And agenda item number 11, return to open session, take any action.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Matters in closed session,
And
there's none, so. We can,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
You're late. You should have been first.
And a second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
I did.
Hey, give it to somebody that hadn't.
There's none.
30 minutes late.
The funding that we're getting on the